All right, folks, what is going on? This is episode 344 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller, and hope you guys had a great weekend. I mean, my weekend wasn't too bad. It wasn't really much about me. It was about my wife. It was Mother's Day. It was about my mom. It was Mother's Day. So I, made sure that they were good for Mother's Day, and just appreciate all the mothers around the world. Happy Mother's Day, happy late Mother's Day to everyone who has a that has children, pretty much all the moms across the world. Without you guys, we wouldn't be anything. Without y'all, we'd be nothing. So really appreciate that. Thank you guys for the support and all the likes and the views and the commentary and the comments. You guys, the feedback you guys have been giving me is great. So I really appreciate that. If this is your first time here, welcome to the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here, I talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. Just more Atlanta Falcons talk. I mean, this team is continuing to transform. We're going to dwell into what this team is turning into. We talked about how fast they transformed and all this other stuff, all this other things that they've been doing. And I want to put on my shades for this one because I love to talk with my shades on when I want to boast a little bit. When you look at this team, how they transformed, it is something just amazing. What they've done in this draft in the offseason is great. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about have they actually got away from the finesse tag of this team. So if you were listening on YouTube and watching on YouTube and Rumble, I really appreciate it. I also can be found on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts if you want to listen to the audio side of this as well. So hopefully you guys find a way to subscribe to any of those avenues, and we're going to get right into it. The Falcons always been known as a finesse team. It wasn't something that we wanted to be. It's just something that just happened. We sat here and we was looking at situations where we never could get any physicality up on the line. We couldn't never really get any of a physical presence on the edge. Not too many hard hitting defensive backs. I think one of the last ones that we had was Willie Moe and Keon O'Neal. And Keon O'Neal was almost a little bit too physical because he had a lot of penalties. But nevertheless, I like this style of play. Don't get me wrong. I mean, even though he couldn't cover anybody, I like this style of play where he could be a thumper and knock some people's heads off. You saw a little bit, a very short glimpse of that when, what's his name? The safety that we just got finished talking about from the Raiders just re-signed with us. Well, anyway, he knocked the block off somebody for the Panthers, and that was great. That's the type of stuff that you want to see when it comes to your players. You want to see these guys, knock a guy out every now and then, but nevertheless, we're looking at the change of this team, not just on defense, but also on offense, where we have guys that are bigger, faster, in some cases faster, stronger, definitely stronger and more physical. I mean, we got guys like that's coming through like Rashad Evans, and you see guys that can run crazy like Troy Anderson, and guys who could get and be nasty up against that rush, that pass rush like Ebakete. These guys are like 6'3", 6'4", 250, 260, 270 pound guys. You're getting guys who are coming in here that can actually push some guys around. AJ Terrell is not a slouch either. When you look at a situation with a Casey Hayward who can cover and push a few guys around. I mean, they're not known for it, but they're not going to be falling over against anybody anyway. You look at the offense. You look at this offensive line, how many guys that we start to pick up on the offense like Schaefer. That is known that has size to him as well. Jalen Mayfield needs to step up. He really needs to. He has the size. He just needs to have that nasty streak about him. Like Chris Lindstrom, who's been doing phenomenal. Jake Matthews has been doing phenomenal. When you turn around and you look at another guy that's on the outside now, a Drake London, a Kyle Pitts. These guys are big physical guys. Cordell Patterson, big physical guys. The running back that we just picked up, Tyler Algier. You got big physical guys are coming in that are capable of pushing people around. I think this team is not only just a transformation of what the makeup is, but we're actually having a transformation of what we can actually, put on another team. We can lean on a team. We could possibly, actually be physical and manhandle a few guys, push some guys around. Something like what Marlon Davidson that said that he wanted to do when he first got to the league. He wanted to be a guy that can, move another man out of the way to get to the quarterback. He had his moments, but he hasn't gotten there on a consistent basis. But he's still on the team. I think he'd be able to do so. It's just one of the few guys that can constantly be rotated out on Dean Pease's defense. A Grady Jarrett, once again, where he can actually, command respect up on that on against an offensive line. And what this does, it puts other teams on notice to, like I was saying before, that, second, third, fourth quarter, you're not going to want to tackle a guy that's 6'6", 240, or another guy who's 6'5", 220, or a running back that's 5'11", 225, 230. You don't want to run into those guys. You don't want to be tackled by a Troy Anderson who probably run through a wall to get at you. You don't want to drop back the pass when Ebiketie is after you. So these are the things that can actually turn a team around to where we can start winning games by wearing down people, not necessarily outscoring or making sure we get the ball last and play keep away. It's going to become a point where, okay, this team may need to come back and across that line, you got a defense like the Falcons. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, what we're going to do with them? We need to find a way to spread them out because those guys hit us, we're going to have problems. This is one of the reasons why a lot of people are looking at Deion Jones a little different now. Deion Jones is a phenomenal player. I think he played football pretty well, but he just doesn't fit the scheme that the Falcons are doing. You can see the change. I didn't even talk about D'Angelo Malone yet. I didn't even put him on the screen because you kind of get the picture of what we're doing over here. I changed him out to put Rashaan Evans up because I haven't talked about him enough, but he's known to knock some people around. He's known to get at the quarterback or get at the running back and put him to the ground. These guys aren't going to be missing tackles. I'll tell you that much. I can't guarantee it, but I'm almost certain that these guys aren't going to be missing tackles. And that's one of the main things. These guys are going to be aware. They're going to be attentive. They're going to be more than capable of making plays. They're going to know what's going on. You're not going to have a situation where how it was with that onside kick against Dallas. You're not going to have question mark moments anymore with this team. And for all intents and purposes, what happened last year, I think the defense done the best they could within the situation, outside of the Patriots and the Dallas game. I think they did okay for the most part. I mean, you don't win 7 games just because it's all on the offense. Yeah, I know Matt Ryan has something to do with that, and Cordell Patterson had a lot to do with that. But the defense had to do something at some point. But with that defense the way it was last year, the way it's this year, it's going to be different. It's going to be different. You can look at it and tell. You can see the makeup of the team. You know what, when this team was able to be assembled through the draft and free agency, you saw the vibe of the team just change. When we get these linebackers in here, when we get the cornerbacks in here, the safeties, the defensive linemen, the receivers, we bring in more offensive linemen, we bring more defensive tackles in. Even though we got a small little change of pace, running back who can catch out the backfield, you turn right back around and get Tyler Algier and continue to probably have Cordell Patterson in the backfield. We got some guys who aren't afraid to play football. And I think that's the main thing. We have guys that's not afraid to play football. And I'm not casting the purge on anybody who was here before, but when you look at some of the things that we've done, it look like we didn't know what we were doing at times, offense and defense. So these guys, I know that the gold mine year is 2023 when we get all that cap space. That's going to be the year. And I'm not saying that these guys are going to be winning 10, 11, 12 games. But I feel that this team is going to be much more respected than we think they are. I don't think this team is going to be a pushover by at the least. If you were able to win 7 games with the team that we had last year and you assemble the team like this, where you have guys who aren't afraid to go over the middle to catch a football, where you have guys that don't mind putting a lick on somebody who goes over the middle to catch a football, guys who aren't afraid to rush the passer or stop the run, or you got guys like A.J. Terrell aren't afraid to jump in front of a football and get an interception. When you got guys like this on the team, you have a situation where these guys can be better than last year. They're already better than last year. Even though we don't even have our franchise quarterback no more, I still feel the balance of everything else that has been taking place and the guys that have been brought in, we are a better team than last year. And I think they're going to show it. Now, does that mean they're going to have a better win-loss record? I don't know. I mean, we have a tough schedule next year. We have a fairly tough schedule. But there's no denying that what we have here is better than last year. You know. And like we always said, it's starting in the trenches. It starts in the trenches, and we see how we took the option on Lindstrom. We bought in Jarrett. I mean, we re-signed Grady Jarrett. We drafted Jordan Schaefer. We even got the other offensive lineman from Boston College, the Vrabel, I think is Mike Vrabel's son. We got him, and we got a lot of other guys that we picked up. And before I go, I want to try to, touch on those guys as well. Not necessarily, saying too much about them. But you have to understand, like, we end up signing Vincent Taylor to a 1-year deal. Who else? That's a defensive tackle right there. Anthony Rush, we re-signed him. Elijah Wilkerson, we signed him. Re-signed Jake Matthews to a 3-year deal. And I didn't even talk about Lorenzo Carter on defense. We got Lorenzo Carter on defense. Afedi is signed to a 1-year deal. So, I mean, we got some guys that are going to come in and that's actually going to, do some things. Not to mention a lot of these other guys who've been signed as, undrafted free agents. I still stand by Brad Hawkins. I think Brad Hawkins is going to be a lot better than we think it is. I think it's going to be a lot better than we think he is. And to bring another guy that we drafted in the 7th round, John Fitzpatrick, bring him in 6'7", 250 pounds. Like I said, bigger and stronger, more physical team. This guy's going to be good for run blocking. And don't get it twisted. He can catch some footballs too. So we have to understand what is going on here. I think we really have the makeup to be a better team. I'm not going to say it's going to be a makeup to be, we win a division. We are a threat to winning the division, I believe. I think we are a threat to that. But I don't think, I don't think we're going to be no different than what we were last year. It's just going to look better. You know what I'm saying? It's just going to look better than last year. Last year, a lot of these games were pretty, it was pretty ugly. But I will say that, hey man, I think we're going to be a little bit slightly better than last year. Maybe 8-9 wins. I'm guessing. I don't know. But I just love the picks that we had at the end of the day. And I think that this team is not a finesse team no longer. I don't think that we're pretty much close to that now. We got some guys that may not be the best players at their position, but collectively they're going to be a really good team. They're going to be a really good team together. And it's just going up against the different type of competition is really going to show what we're going to be able to do as far as wins and losses. So I just don't know how that's going to play out. But I'm looking at the team from what I see. There's no denying that this team is better. This team is better than what it was last year. And I don't know what the rookie's going to do as far as actually contributing right away. The only one I can see really contributing right away is, to be honest, because I'm looking at this draft class, and I think I said this before, I think I said it in the comment section, I think every player that has been drafted, from Drake London to all the way to John Fitzpatrick, they can contribute right away. And they may need to because the lack of the lack of depth we had on this team. We may need Troy Anderson and Ebikete and Drake London and Algier to go out there and play right away. I think everybody that been picked up on defense is going to be rotated in somewhere, somehow, anyway. So they're going to be finding ways to contribute. Desmond Ridder, he may be the only one that don't contribute right away because of Marcus Mariota. He may be the only one. And that's if he doesn't beat out Marcus Mariota in practice, which there's a high possibility that that may happen. And I think that just shows one that we may, and I'm not going to say this yet, but it is a possibility that we may have our franchise quarterback right there. And if that's the case, it's going to be really interesting to see what next year's draft is going to be like, because we don't have to look for somebody in the first round for another quarterback or whenever. That can go to another skill player position that can help us, another weapon on offense or another weapon on defense. It doesn't have to be the guy that tries to run the show, because the guy that's running the show is already here. And I think the Falcons did a phenomenal job in this draft. Even post-draft, the round 8 I talked about, when round 8 is basically the free agents, the undrafted free agents that they pick up that did not get drafted. Like, I still don't understand why Brad Hawkins or Derek Tangelo, Matt Hawkins, I still don't understand why those 3 guys, but and in some cases even Tyler Vrabel, I just don't understand how those guys did not get signed, did not get drafted. I mean, all the other guys, okay, I can see why. Not saying that they shouldn't be, but I can see why they weren't. But I just feel like with these guys that are coming in and the guys we have now, it's going to be a physical team. It's going to be a really good looking team, and I cannot wait to see what these guys can put together. Like I said, I think there's going to probably still be in the same realm between 7 and 9 wins, because the schedule is pretty tough, but it's going to look a lot better than it did last year, because the 7 and 10 season that we had, we overachieved, but it didn't look pretty. I think this time it'll be dressed up a little bit better with this talent. But the main thing is we need to be physical. We need to be pushing guys around. We got to be nasty, especially in those trenches. You keep the quarterback upright. I don't care if they can move around or not. You still want to keep them upright to be able to make plays. And if they can do that, we're going to be a nightmare for teams. And that's all I've been saying that as well. If you keep the quarterback upright and the quarterback don't make mistakes, we could be in for a really good season. But, that's just me doing a little bit of hyping up. But I firmly believe that. We'll see how this all plays out. If you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this commentary, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like I said before, share this commentary. You know that little share button right there under the YouTube or Rumble or wherever you're watching or listening. Hit that share button and just text it to somebody. Just send it to them via text. And you ain't got to even say nothing. Just send the link to them. And just have them to click it, and especially if they're a Falcons fan, and do that. Even if they're a team, a guy that a woman that that's in the NFC South, and they like the Panthers or they like the Saints or the Bucks, send it to them. Let them know what we're talking about over here, because I feel like this team is going to be a lot better than advertised. It's not the same team that you knew a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. This rebuild actually looks like a rebuild going very, very fast. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Subscribe to these avenues if you haven't already. You guys are helping me grow. We just got over 1,100 subs. Keep marching on to 1,200 and so on and so on. And it's all thanks to you guys. If you want to check any of the links down in the description, you could do so. All that stuff helps grow the channel. It helps grow the podcast. And without you guys, this doesn't go anywhere. I said this before. You guys are the reason why I do what I do. It's not because I want to be, a certain broadcaster, whatever the case may be. No, I like it because you guys really respond in kind. Some phenomenal comments in the comment section. I really, really appreciate it. All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoy your Monday. I am going to get out of here. We'll have another episode on Tuesday. We'll be probably talking something similar, unless something else comes up, because I got some more things I want to talk about when it comes to the Falcons, unless some breaking news happen on other avenues as far as the Georgia Southern Eagles or the Falcons. We'll talk about those. All right, guys. You guys take it easy. You guys be blessed. Peace.